How can traders stick to their rules and not break them?
Well, I wouldn't have a training business if they did, because that's ultimately what I do. The misconception is that I'm spending hours and hours and hours teaching in-depth technicals. Most people, once they've got their strategy and they've carved it out and they've tested it, people pick up technicals fairly quickly. Yes, there's always something new to learn, but they pick up their strategy. If people could stick to their rules, then ultimately, assuming the strategy works, they'd be successful. I think the main one is greed, the greed and fear. So their emotions, the random nature of the results. So let's say they've tested 500 trades over a year, and that gives them a positive win-loss ratio and a positive risk to reward. But what they probably haven't looked at is at what point was that strategy losing? What was the worst losing period during that year? And if they look back, they go, well, I had 8 trades on the trot where I didn't have a winner, or I had a month and a half where I was having winners and losers but wasn't making any money. But they look at the overall result of the year, and then they essentially put that overall result on the result of every individual trade. And they don't bother to look and go, actually, there were a lot of periods during that year where I wasn't making any money, or I wasn't hitting my numbers. So I think the fear and greed then kicks in. So they know rationally what to do, but the result is not happening. And I think also, if a trader's winning and say has 5 or 6 winning trades on the trot, it's very difficult for them not to then look at imagine the next 4 or 5 trades doing exactly the same thing. Another one for day traders is boredom. And I know this from me. Boredom was the big one for me. It's like there's nothing happening, the markets are sideways, but you sit there because maybe it'll break out in the next couple of minutes. And I got to the point where I was like, if there's nothing happening, walk away. And then my brain would go, yeah, but what if something does happen when I'm not there? Well, okay, I've missed a trade. So I think it's fear and greed and boredom. If traders could manage those, they would be better at being disciplined. Because everyone hears traders say, well, you've got to be disciplined, be disciplined. Well, everyone knows that, but 90% of them aren't being disciplined. So look at what is influencing you. Is it fear? Is it greed? Is it boredom? Is it frustration? What's your trigger? What's the thing that causes you to break your rules?